So, Battle Royale got me in another movie with a source material thing kind of mood. So I'm just gonna do that again with Scott Pilgrim versus the World. This series does have a strong cult following, but it's mainly something. This is mainly just an excuse for me to reread the comic as well as rewatch the movie. And yes, I am completely shameless. Either way, it's an excuse to talk more about this amazing comic and its good but flawed movie. But we'll get into that later. Written and drawn by Brian Lee O'Malley, the book deals with the titular Scott Pilgrim, a 23-year-old Canadian slacker stuck in what could be called a post-grad rut without the whole college education thing. He ends up dating a high school girl and the 17-year-old Knives Chow, and distracting himself by playing bass with his friends in a band that they call Sex Bomb. After going to a party, he falls in love at first sight with a girl named Ramona Flowers, an oddly distant American girl. After going on a date, Scott finds himself having to battle Ramona's seven evil exes in order to actually, date her. And, well, that's the plot. It sounds pretty simple and crazy, but this comic is nothing else. Throughout the story, Scott has to confront his own issues as his world starts slowly changing around him, and him and Ramona's relationship has its highs and lows. At the same time, his old relationships and past actions come to confront him in the present. Now, one thing that's surprising is that the Seven Evil Exes thing isn't really at the forefront of the story. It's mostly a character piece. Yes, there is one entire volume of the comic where Scott is dealing with the Evil X, but it's more about how that Evil X is a parallel of Scott, as well as the fact that said Evil X is also dating one of Scott's exes. I mean, yes, that sounds kind of obvious when you think about it, but the thing about the Evil X's is more like to keep pace with where the story is going up until the very end. Sort of like a ticking clock. Like you take one out, now you get to move on a bit more story, take another out, blah blah blah, same thing, so on, so on. And even when we get to the thing with the Evil X's, even when we get to the end, the thing with the Evil X's is treated more of a framing device than anything else. Even the main bad guy never really put much stock into the whole idea. It's handled similarly in the movie, but the Evil X's take a bit more focus in the film. Now, speaking of the film, we have to go into the theme of the works, as the theme for the film and the theme of the comic are slightly different. They're similar but different. The comic is a theme of accepting yourself with all of your own faults, and moving forward into the future by accepting the mistakes you made in the past. Basically, being more comfortable in your own skin before you can move on to help others as well as be with others. While the film has a similar plot, as well as a similar point, but it's also something about accepting the love around you and not chasing after the exotic with the original intended ending of the film. Yeah, they changed the ending of the movie to fit more in line with the comics, but they left the original ending intact for the DVD bonus. It's there if you want to look at it, and it does fit thematically with the movie. The ending, the actual theatrical ending doesn't really fit too well with the theme they're going for. It feels kind of like an asshole at the very end. Again, it fits better with the ending that they're going for with the film, even if it is true to the comic. Aside from that point, the film is pretty faithful, minus the Battle of the Bands plotline that goes throughout the entire course of the film. And at least until we get to the end with, again, the aforementioned ending. With that said, both works are quite enjoyable and quite good, in their own ways here and there. So here they make a bit of a statement about adaptation. Either way, you can't go wrong reading a comic or watching a movie, or the animated source you didn't really want to go into. Pick up either one and enjoy yourself.